to Culture on I-24 News. I'm Oded Grober. Thanks for joining me. Today on our program, we'll say goodbye to Nobel Prize laureate Gunter Grass. We'll hear the sounds of the Acapella Festival in Acre. And we'll talk to the creator of the web mockumentary, My Affair with ISIS. We begin with novelist Gunter Grass, who passed away at the age of 87. With me in the studio is Ayman Siksak to discuss the author's life and work. Ayman, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
So we all know the name Gunter Grass. Tell us a little bit about his work, though.
Well, Gunter Grass was really one of the last giants of German literature. He represents a certain genre in writing, which we don't really see anymore today. He was a student of art. He did many drawings and graphic novels, wrote a lot of poetry and drama, plays. He was a speechwriter for the previous German chancellor. So really many genres that
in many pots.
Many pots.
Okay.
Of course, his
his early work is the most famous one.
Of course, The Tin Drum, his first novel in 1959, which was hugely controversial, again, because of the mix of genres. It was, in a way, a coming-of-age romance, also political, worked in a lot of controversy and politics into it, and a lot of fantasy, too. And this, at the time, in 1959, German literature was hugely unacceptable. Right. German literature, to this day, still has very set rules and boundaries.
And he broke them.
He broke them all and continued up to the age of 87, breaking them time after time.
So he was controversial in Germany from the get-go, as you said, but not only in Germany. He has a very complex relationship with Israel as well.
Absolutely. I mean, a few years ago, he wrote a very now infamous article condemning Israel for not revealing its nuclear capabilities and saying that not revealing this information really endangered the peace, the fragile peace in the area. It is extremely fragile, as we know. And
that came shortly after his autobiography, where he revealed that as a teenager, he was drafted to the Waffen-SS as well.
Yes.
So he was already at a problematic place, let's say, to some Israeli eyes.
So, absolutely. So when he came to Israel at that point, after having written that article, he was denied access and entering Israel. This happened, of course, with Noam Chomsky, too, a few years ago. So, in a way,
in good company, at least.
In good company. It helps, really, the PR of the people who are not allowed to come in, not so much for the PR of Israel. But his autobiography actually surprised not only Israelis, Germans, too. By that time, he was extremely well known, and in some weird way,
no one left-wing activist.
Right, for the environment, for many left-wing oriented topics. And in that book, he revealed his past as a teenager. He joined the SS, Hitler's youth at that time. He said, though, in the autobiography that he was discharged after 6 months being wounded and never firing a gun. But he was very honest. This was one of the things that made him extremely controversial and famous. He did say that the only reason he didn't commit a war crime was because he didn't get the chance, and not because he wanted to. He said at that time, the SS was just considered an elite group, and it really gives us an interesting perspective on how people imagined Nazi Germany back then, how things seemed different, and that, of
course, when you were there, especially as a teenager, which he was, I think, 16 at the time, right?
Yes, and people there were given the chance to join an extremely elite, very prime unit. They took it. Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, time has come for him to go, but at least he left some work with us.
We will remember him for the Nobel Prize.
Yeah, of course. Thanks, Simon.
Thank you.
Moving on now, the Zimriya Festival in the city of Acre in northern Israel features choirs from Israel and abroad singing in harmony. This year's headliners were the legendary Swingle singers who performed and gave workshops as well. David Gombin and Nasib Safadi went there, brought back this story.
Welcome to Acre, the city historically known for its walls that resisted Napoleon's troops. Now for the second consecutive year, the city hosts the Zimriya International Festival of Choir in Old Acre. The festival focuses on one of the most elaborate musical instruments, the voice. and the Zimriya Festival gives 100% priority to a cappella.
For the first time, Zimriya, which traditionally was for a classical music program, started including in its musical program a cappella. It can be with modern pop, light music, or beatbox.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The important thing is to participate. Today, a cappella enthusiasts are here to get some technical advice from the swingle singers. British masters of vocalization, here they have open rehearsals to the public. Among the artists participating in the festival is 27-year-old Isato. Vibrating his tongue and lips, he has been beatboxing for 12 years. He also conducts workshops and proves that it's never too late to learn to beatbox.
We're all filled with music. We all love a cappella music. So this is something that interests them, regardless of age.
Jews, Christians, Muslims living side by side, Acre is a symbol of coexistence. You can witness it here at the show. Visiting directly from Paris are the TF Gospel Singers, an unusual choir. Led by Juan Amir, an American living in Paris, it includes young and old from a diversity of backgrounds, just like the Janner.
It was music that was created with a mixture of cultures. But really, music is universal. It is music that speaks of peace, of love, to overcome the problems, and especially inside the community.
Jean-Pierre Nakache is a member of the choir. He cherishes the Christian roots of the gospel because it parallels the history of the Hebrews.
When we were in Egypt, we were slaves. When you read the Torah, it explains that when we were out of Egypt, we were singing the song of Shirat Hayam at the Red Sea, which was at that time the only freedom song the slaves had time to sing.
Is it a sign from God? They just took the stage, but the choir is interrupted by a religious song. A different and unique type of a cappella known all around the Middle East.
Once again,
The festival highlights the Swingle Singers. Founded in 1962 in Paris by Ward Swingle, they interpret the classic scat vocal jazz. Over 50 years of performing and 4 Grammy Awards in their pockets. This is obviously a rejuvenated training in the heart of the Citadel. And this time they're not alone on stage. To support the wave of voices, 35 singers on stage from ages 20 to 70 years old. Among them the observant Jew, Jeff Meshel, who's even singing an a cappella continuity of a religious tradition.
The whole Jewish tradition is a cappella. In the days of the temple, they used instruments, but since the temple was destroyed, it's all been a cappella. The voice is the only instrument built by God.
And that is how God chose our ending note.
My Affair with ISIS is a mockumentary web series that tells the story of a Russian-Israeli guy fed up with life in the country that seeks to join the Islamic State. The pilot won in the student category in the Made for Web competition. Very happy to have Ori Yaniv, one of the creators and the lead actor, here in the studio. Hi, Ori.
Hi, Oded. How are you?
I'm doing great. Tell me, how was the idea for this born?
Well, I was watching the news with my wife, and there's this phenomenon of young Muslim Europeans leaving their comforts of families and homes and going to no man land in the, well, not the Wild West, but the wild Middle East. And we're trying to understand what's the motive, where do they find the drive? Yeah. And I think it's a very strong sense of alienation and this strong longing to belong somewhere, to fit in somewhere. And we were thinking it's to take this to one more level, to the absurd, and to see what if someone here in Israel, a young Russian immigrant who wants to fit in so badly that he just overlooks the fact that he's Israeli and Jewish and in the Israeli army. And he says, hey, it's right here on the northern border. And he hitchhikes to Syria and tries to find his way in the Islamic State.
Let's take a look at a clip from it. Come back and talk some more.
Let's do it.
אז אמא, אני מצאתי איפה להשתלב. אני רוצה להגיע למדינה האסלאמית. איפה? מדינה האסלאמית. למדינה האסלאמית, לדאעש. איך אני מגיע? יש אוטובוס, יש קו ישיר, זה דרך טבריה.
So I'm sure that the way to the Islamic State goes through Tiberias. That's for sure.
It is.
You did take it to an absurd place, a very funny place also.
Thank you very much.
But it's a sensitive subject.
It is.
Were you worried that people are not going to be able to make that?
My mom is basically worried. She's always, let's not make it, she hopes it doesn't succeed too much. But you know, the series is not about ISIS. It's like Borat talks about the US and not about Kazakhstan. It's about the Israeli society and how hard it is to fit in, especially for a young immigrant. And in the series, most of all we talk about Israel. We talk about how tough it is for this guy. Roman has it very hard everywhere.
Yep.
In the army, he doesn't fit in, and in the Boy Scouts, and everywhere he just doesn't can't find his place. So I think this is the main subject, and well, we're going more and more in the Islamic State now, so it gets tougher for him.
Yeah, there's some dark humor there. Were there jokes that were a little too dark for you to put in?
Yeah, well, we know we're trying to be very, very, very careful when we go in the Islamic State, but most of all, there's this obsession that he's got about cutting heads off, because I know it's a really dark subject, but...
And his ongoing dialogue with his mother. I'm curious if the two will meet at some point.
We're thinking about, I'll tell you, we don't want to tell any secrets, but his mom will definitely arrive at some point.
All
and
right.
like
there are 2 episodes so far.
So far, we wrote 6 episodes for this web season, and we're going all the way into ISIS, into the Islamic State. And I can tell you, it's very different from writing to anywhere. It's very short episodes, 5 to 7 minutes, and it's only YouTube and Facebook, and we're gathering our crowd as we go.
No, it's a challenge, and it's. I mean, as you said, it's working in different method, I suppose, when you work for a web series, when you work on this length, and you're an actor, pretty established, and part of the Gesher Theater, very respected. Is it a different approach?
It's a totally different approach. When I'm working in Gesher Theater for Yevgeny Arya, I'm part of a big creation, and I have my part, and I can be creative. But here, you're the boss, first of all, and you're sitting in the editing room, and you need to decide. And when you create a 5-minute episode, it's got to be very fast. You have to catch the audience. You can't have it not funny for a minute, because people will tune out. You know, it's that easy on YouTube. So yeah, it's very challenging, but it keeps us sharp, and we need to find our humor exactly, and to find what's funny about Roman, and
and
for me it's a big lesson. Yeah.
Now, Gesher Theater, since we mentioned it, is mostly Russian.
It's a Russian-based theater. Right now, most of the group are Israelis or Israeli-born now.
At least it started off as a Russian.
It started off as Russians, and Yevgeny Arya, the director, still speaks only Russian and English, and when
they see you as Roman,
they love it. It's very funny, because I think I took a lot from the young Russian crew, the technicians, the light workers, and they're very radical, anarchists. They all have long hair, looking for very extreme places to be, and I took a lot from them, from the slang, so they love it. They're my number one fans.
They don't take anything from.
I think they'll stay here in Jaffa, I think.
Well, Ori, it's a great, really wonderful creation. All the best.
Thank you very much. And tune in, הרומן שלי עם דאעש, my affair with ISIS.
Before we end today, here's our cultural recommendation.
8 days, dozens of screenings, debates, meetings. This is the Israeli Film Festival in Paris. For this 15th edition, the Parisian public will discover the biggest Israeli hits of the year, but also short films and documentaries. Among the most anticipated films, The Farewell Party with the famous Zev Revach, a movie about euthanasia in a retirement home. Or Zero Motivation, a humorous and wacky movie about the military service of a group of girls in the IDF. Surprise, Indignation, Emotion, Shelley of Asaf Korman, That Lovely Girl of Keren Yadaya, or See You an Athlete of Shirel Amitai. A whole new exciting program at the Israeli Cinema Festival in Paris.
That's it from us for today. I hope you enjoyed our show. We'll be back tomorrow with another one, so join us again.